Hello and welcome to our channel. Donald Trump loves to call himself a master negotiator, a deal maker, the greatest economic mind in presidential history. But if the past few weeks are any indication, the only thing he's great at is pushing the world to the brink of a trade war and putting America's global reputation and working families on the chopping block. While Americans are still grappling with soaring prices, inflation shocks, and economic instability, Trump has decided the answer is to blow everything up. Again, tariffs on allies, escalating threats on trade, economic bullying that's isolating the United States from the rest of the world, all while bragging about winning, even though American consumers are footing the bill every single time. This week, Europe said enough is enough, and if Trump thought his economic chaos would go unanswered, he was wrong. But before we get to today's breaking news, let's talk about the pattern. Because this didn't come out of nowhere. Trump spent his first term waging war on global alliances, breaking trade deals, pulling out of climate agreements, and insulting our allies on the world stage, while cozying up to dictators and billionaires. He slapped tariffs on steel and aluminum from countries like Canada and Germany, allies, not adversaries, under the excuse of national security. He threatened American car buyers with higher prices by pushing for auto tariffs that even his own advisors warned would tank U.S. manufacturing. And let's not forget the time he tried to force Denmark to sell Greenland and then threw a tantrum when they laughed in his face. Now, in his return to power, he's picking up right where he left off. But this time, the world is done playing nice. Trump recently announced sweeping new tariffs on European steel, aluminum, and nearly every other major export to the U.S. We're talking about billions of dollars in goods. 70% of the EU's exports to the U.S. under fire. Copper, pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, timber, even cars, all threatened with new duties. And of course, Trump is calling it a brilliant move to protect American greatness. But here's the truth. Tariffs are just taxes in disguise. They don't hurt foreign governments. They hurt the American people. They make your groceries more expensive. They hike up the cost of materials for small businesses. They force layoffs. They push industries to the brink. And now the blowback is finally here. Because the European Union isn't backing down. In a move that's got MAGA world scrambling, the EU has spent the week preparing to hit back. Hard, retaliatory tariffs, strategic countermeasures, billions in targeted U.S. goods now facing steep penalties, all because Trump couldn't resist swinging his economic sledgehammer. We're talking about everything from dental floss to diamonds, chewing gum to vacuum cleaners, and yes, bourbon. The very product Trump once tried to protect for his Kentucky loyalists is now under the EU's crosshairs. And don't forget wine, wood, clothing, toilet paper, and an entire cross-section of American exports that the EU is now ready to tax into oblivion. This isn't just symbolic, it's a direct message. If Trump wants a trade war, Europe is ready. France and Italy, two of the EU's biggest wine exporters, are furious. Not at the EU, but at Trump for dragging them into economic turmoil and threatening global markets. Even smaller countries like Ireland, whose economy relies heavily on U.S. trade, are calling for unity. The EU isn't splintering, it's rallying against Trump. And that's exactly what terrifies him. Trump thrives on division. He doesn't know how to handle a united front, especially one that represents 27 nations and a $500 billion export pipeline. For years, the GOP warned about international chaos. They said only Trump could keep the world in check. But now, even his Republican allies are silent as our closest allies prepare to shut the door on us. Behind closed doors, Trump's own advisors are panicking. Business leaders are calling for calm. Farmers and manufacturers, many of whom supported Trump, are bracing for another wave of economic whiplash. And the EU? They're done waiting. Luxembourg hosted an emergency meeting this week, the first since Trump's new tariffs dropped, bringing together ministers from all 27 EU countries. Their goal? To emerge with a united voice and a warning to Washington. That warning? Drop the tariffs or face the consequences. EU officials have already drafted a list of American products to hit with penalties. The final list will go to a vote on Wednesday, and unless a massive internal rebellion happens, which is highly unlikely, the tariffs will be approved. And that brings us to the breaking news. After years of Trump's trade bullying, the European Union has officially prepared $28 billion in counter-tariffs on U.S. goods and is expected to approve the first round within days. This is the EU's biggest economic pushback against the United States in a generation, and it's not just Europe. Canada and China have already announced their own retaliatory tariffs. We are now in the early stages of what economists are calling a global trade war, one that could spiral into higher prices, slower growth, and deep recession across major economies. Let's break it down. Trump's reckless tariffs sparked a domino effect. Now, up to $585 billion in European exports are under threat. American goods, from meat to cereal, from bourbon to timber, are about to get slapped with massive taxes overseas. And here's the kicker. The American consumer pays the price, not the EU, not the elites, not Trump. You. This is what happens when you elect someone who confuses bullying with leadership, someone who trades diplomacy for grandstanding, someone who thinks deal-making means burning every bridge in sight. And while he's busy claiming victory, real people, workers, small businesses, families, are going to feel the pain. The EU's counter-tariffs will roll out in 2 phases, starting April 15th. More will follow in May. Meanwhile, Trump's administration is scrambling to hold emergency meetings with CEOs from steel, auto, and pharmaceutical industries to brace for the fallout. They're not discussing solutions, they're damage controlling the monster they helped unleash. So the next time someone tells you Trump is a genius businessman, remind them that he's just ignited a multinational trade war that could tank global markets. The next time they say he stands up for American workers, remind them that American farmers, manufacturers, and consumers are the ones footing the bill. And the next time they scream America first, remind them that Trump's policies have America dead last in international credibility, economic stability, and global cooperation. This isn't leadership, it's chaos dressed in red, white, and blue. And we've seen this movie before. If we let it play out again, we already know how it ends. In layoffs, in recession, in disaster. So, if you're tired of the gaslighting, if you're sick of the lies, if you believe real leadership means working with our allies, not attacking them, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video, because the truth matters, and the world is watching.